Hey YouTubers! It's been a long day at work, quite tired, had a lovely dinner with my family, and I have another random picks video to do, number 6. And this time the picks were made by YouTube user dwashington607. Thank you very much for showing your interest and support, and let's have a look at the different records that you picked. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with the one I think is best in this pile, my favorite in this pile, and it is this lovely album, Kate and Anna McGarrigle. It's their first album from 1975 on Warner Brothers, with many good songs in the folk style. It's recorded in 75, as I said. Great musicians on this album: Stephen Gadd, Tony Levin, David Spinoza, Hugh McCracken. I mean, they're really the New York elite among studio musicians. And also, I think Loudon Wainwright can be heard in one of the songs. He was married to one of the McGarrigle sisters. I can't remember which one now. Well, it has this usual Warner Brothers in the sleeve, and this label that I'm sure you recognize, and it's called, they often call this the Burbank labels with the palm trees. It was used during major part of the 1970s. Great singer-songwriter music, great voices, great musicians, and great songs. I think they deserve much more recognition for what they did. One of them passed away recently. Still, I can't really remember which one of them it was, but it was very sad to hear it. Definitely a record worth having in any collection. Great pick. Now we're going to check a really odd pick that I don't think is in that many collections. Dans un genre bédouin de Tunis, and it's the singer Saliha de ensemble populaire tunisien. Different Tunisian songs, Tunisian folk songs, and have a look at this. This is a 10-inch record. It's a French 10-inch pressing with Tunisian folk music. Nice sleeve, and I'm not sure when this was recorded or issued. In France, they enjoyed issuing these 10-inchers for a longer time than in United States and England or in Sweden. And it's recorded on the French label Le Chant du Monde. Oh, it's dusty. Sorry about that. Very simple white label. Made in France. And very interesting folk music from Northern Africa. I don't have it much from Northern Africa, more from Southern Africa, from Cameroon, from those countries, and South Africa. Yeah, that was an odd pick, so thank you for reminding me that I had it. Okay, now we're going to pick the first LP in this random picks series with classical music. I think it is the first one, and it's a very good pick. It's Rudolf Verkusny playing Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata and Sonata Pathétique. This is a capital issue with a very thick cardboard sleeve. I'm quite sure that this is an original issue. It's an American issue. Anyway, with this full dimensional sound inner sleeve, and a very nice album with a very nice label. I'm not that familiar with this Capitol label, but it looks as if they want to really show the good sound by having a really nice label with golden. And it's a very good recording. Great pianist and a great recording, and the record is in great condition. So, a very good pick, very interesting pick for the first classical LP in this pile of different records that dwashington607 picked for me. Okay, we have two more. The next one, we're going back to the special type of music that I collect some of. I have some sort of love and hate relationship to it, because most of it is not that incredibly good. But still, I grew up with some of these bands, so I have a certain feeling for them. And I showed the group Cool Candies, who had a style with two tenor saxophones, and they made an instrumental LP. Now we're going to over to another band that made both vocal albums and instrumental albums, and the instrumental albums are very much inspired by Billy Vaughan. And this is a group called Thorleifs, who has a quite nice logotype with their name here. I always liked it. This is Saxophone 2, saxophone, goding, something that tastes good or sounds good. 2. This is from 1983. They started playing back in 1962, and they had their big breakthrough among many other dance orchestras, dance bands in the early 70s. And they made a recording in 1975 of a tune called Gråtinga tårar, which was later voted as the greatest dance band song of the 20th century. They had they have been playing up until a month ago or so. They had their 50-year jubilee a couple of months ago, and after that they said, well, goodbye, thank you very much for all these years. So I think they've just have this group has stopped playing, and they had more or less the same members since the early 70s. So of course you get older, and you get older even if you're just a teenager when you start a band. After a while you get older and you can't play forever. And I mean, 50 years playing in a band, it's a long time, but it is not unique. Not at all unique. There are more Swedish dance bands that play together for 50 years. And, well, have a look at Rolling Stones. Anyway, many Swedish dance orchestras, when they had great success, they started with one of the major record companies, but then when they started selling well, they formed their own record companies. This was quite common. And Thorleifs was another band who did this. They had their own record label called Tor, or Tor Gramophone. They started in 1975, and I think it existed until the late 80s, or mid-80s. And this was their label from the 80s. Quite nice, actually. I like this label. They had a simpler red label before that. And what about the content on this album? Well, it's nice music to dance to when you dance ballroom dancing. Instrumental versions with soprano sax and alto sax and some tenor sax of quite famous tunes like My Happiness, Oh Carol, Green Green Grass of Home, Still, Memory, Lily Marlene, Save Your Love. It was a great hit in 1983. I don't think it's one of their most exciting albums, but it's pleasant enough. Right. Enough of that. All right. The last one I actually had forgot that I had. And I actually had to check them up because I couldn't even remember that I listened to this, and I may have listened to it, but I can't remember. I will listen to it later. And it's a comedy album with the satire group The Conception Corporation, and it's their first album, A Pause in the Disaster. It's from 1970. I don't know that much about this group. They recorded 3 albums. The third one, which was a live album, wasn't released or issued on vinyl back in the days. They were on the, I don't know if I said it, the Cotillon label, which of course was a subsidiary to Atlantic, and that makes it a bit more cool, releasing it on Cotillon. Looks like that. And I think I have to listen to this because I don't remember having listened to it. I may not have done it. I don't remember buying it either, but I must have since I have it. And I don't remember if I thought it was funny, but I will listen to it and form some sort of idea. The members of the group aren't that famous apart from Murphy Dunn, who later worked with the Blues Brothers and still is quite active. When I searched for information about this group, I found his own website. It was quite filled with nice pictures of people he worked with and lots of information. Otherwise, I don't know that much about these guys. Still, an odd album, A Pause in the Disaster. There's a satire of the Conception Corporation. They may be some sort of inspired by the Fireside Theatre or maybe the Second City, but I'm not sure really. But I will listen to this. All right. It was a very random pick. I mean, Beethoven and McGarrigle, Tunisian folk songs, Swedish dance band, Beethoven and American political satire. Very interesting mix here. And thank you for helping me remembering some of these albums. dwashington607. I hope somebody found this somewhat interesting, and thank you for now.